Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Radha Madhava ki jai. I am fairly new to this community, so I thought of introducing myself first. My name is Kirti Radhika Dasi. I come from Ljubljana, Slovenia. It is where I grew up and where I met devotees and grew up again. And, or better to say, I grew down before I met devotees. Then I got a chance to grow up a little bit. My current most occupying service is being a housewife and a mother, which is the most difficult and exhausting and the sweetest, most rewarding service I was ever assigned to do. And for that I'm most grateful to all of my gurus, especially my dear husband and my eternal spiritual father. It is by their they facilitating and making it possible for me to perform this task. So it is humbling for me today to sit here. There senior Vaishnavis hearing, but in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained how a bird would always fly according to its abilities. So I pray for your blessings, that I'll be able to say something for your satisfaction, for the satisfaction of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada and their lordships, Sri Sri Prahlad Lakshmi Narasimhadev. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 24th chapter, verse 29. Sa eva Bhagavan Nadya Helanam Naganayanam Griheshu Jatogramyanam Yasvanam Pakshaposhanam Sa eva Bhagavanadya Helanam Naganayanam Griheshu Jatogramyanam Yasvanam Pakshaposhanaha Sa eva Bhagavanadya Helanam Naganayana Griheshu Jatogramyanam Yasvanam Pakshaposhanaha. So please chant. Sa eva Bhagavanadya Helanam Naganayana Griheshu Jatogramyanam Yasvanam Pakshaposhanaha. Sa eva Bhagavanadya Helanam Naganayana Griheshu Jatogramyanam Yasvanam Pakshaposhanaha. Sa eva Bhagavanadya Helanam Naganayana Griheshu Jatogramyanam Yasvana Pakshaposhanaha. Sa eva, that very same Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Adya, today. Helanam, negligence. Na, not. Ganaya, considering high and low. Na, our griheshu, in the houses, jataha, appeared, gramyanam, of ordinary householders, ya, he who, svanam, of his own devotees, pakshaposhanaha, who supports the party. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in our homes just to support His devotees. So now the purport. Devotees are so affectionate toward the Personality of Godhead that although He does not appear before those who practice yoga in a secluded place even for many, many births, He agrees to appear in a householder's home where devotees engage in devotional service without material yoga practice. In other words, devotional service to the Lord is so easy that even a householder can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one of the members of his household, as his son, as Kardama Muni experienced. He was a householder, although a yogi, but he had the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila Muni, as his son. Devotional service is such a powerful transcendental method that it surpasses all other methods of transcendental realization. The Lord therefore says that He lives neither in Vaikuntha nor in the heart of a yogi, but He lives where His pure devotees are always chanting and glorifying Him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Bhakta Vatsala. He is never described as Jnani Vatsala or Yogi Vatsala. He is always described as Bhakta Vatsala because he is more inclined toward his devotees than toward other transcendentalists. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that only a devotee can understand him as he is. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. One can understand me only by devotional service, not otherwise. That understanding alone is real, because although jnanis, mental speculators, can realize only the effulgence or the bodily luster of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and yogis can realize only the partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a bhakta not only realizes him as he is, but also associates with the Personality of Godhead face to face. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakayam Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sa eva Bhagavanadya, Helanam Naganayana, Griheshu Jatogramyanam, Yasvanam Pakshaposhana. Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Personality of Godhead appears in our homes just to support His devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, it is a nice verse spoken by Kardama Muni and a very nice purport by Srila Prabhupada. And in this purport, there are three things said about devotional service. Three adjectives are given. First being that devotional service is easy. Second being that it's powerful, that it is a powerful transcendental method. And the third being that it is real. So we will go into all of these three and try to see what it is to it. So my question, is it easy, devotional service? Yes? No? Maybe? Depends. Okay. A couple of years ago, I was on a pilgrimage in Gujarat, and we went to see this Jambavan cave. So this is a place where Krishna performed his pastimes, where he was trying to retrieve the Shyamantaka jewel from the bear, from Jambavan, and to clear his name and to return it to Satrajit. So he went there, and the bear's son was playing with this precious jewel that could produce gold. And so anyway, Lord Krishna fought then with Jambavan for 28 days, and it was a fierce fight. And after 28 days, Jambavan then figured, nobody can fight me like this. You must be Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he surrendered. He surrendered himself, he surrendered the jewel, and he surrendered his beautiful daughter, Jambavati. So this Jambavan's cave, actually, it's a hole in the ground with iron ladder going down, a bit scary. So you go down, and then it's a whole cave, with tunnels and everything underground. And we had a guide, with a flashlight, and he was showing us, this is a place, this is a tunnel where Lord Krishna came, and this is a place where he fought with Jambavan, and this is where he got married to Jambavati. And there was this side tunnel, like a short one. And I looked inside, and at the end of this tunnel, there was one yogi sitting, like motionless, with his dreadlocks. Yogi, yes. With his dreadlocks, and he was facing the wall. So I asked our guide, what is this sadhu doing? And he said, oh, Dhyana yoga. And that moment, it was a big, big, big wake up for me. Because apparently this sadhu, every morning at 6 o'clock, he would climb down this iron ladder, into the hole in the ground. He would go there to sit in a tunnel, in a cave, facing a wall for 12 hours a day, motionless, meditating on the Lord. And then 6 o'clock in the evening, he would go home. And next day, he would come 6 o'clock in the morning, do the same thing for years in and years out. So I'm sorry for everybody that said that devotional service not so easy. For me, at that particular place, at that particular moment of time, I had the realization that it's very, very easy. We dress in this beautiful, colorful clothes, and we wear makeup and ornaments for the Lord, and we sing and dance, and we eat for the Lord. So, there is a catch to it, because it is said, that our process is so simple, it can easily be missed, and it can easily become like a lifestyle. I get up at 4 in the morning, I take a shower, then I go and I dance around the bush with my friends. And it is easy, but it is not shallow. It is very, very deep. Because what is the goal of our process? What are we aiming at? What are we striving? What are we trying to achieve? What is it? Yes, we want to love Krishna. And love, that's not a sentimental thing. It is not like a warm feeling inside. Our scriptures are telling us, Srila Prabhupada is telling us, there's a whole science to it. It's a scientific process. And we will come to this point like a little bit later, but as I mentioned, a process, what actually is our process? There are called these 9 pillars of devotional service, or 9 stages of devotional service, which are considered our process. These are Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and then is Pada Sevanam, and Archanam, and Vandanam, and Dasyam, and Sakyam, and Atma Nivedanam. We go from hearing and chanting and remembering the Lord, serving Him. We worship Him we give our prayers to him, then we're trying to develop this mood of servitorship, the mood of friendship with the Lord, and then ultimately surrender ourselves to him. So, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita in Madhya Lila, there is a verse 19:180, where it is said that all these stages combined are called Staibhava, or continuous love of Godhead in devotional service. So, as I said, we will return to this point. Now I want to do a little bit of brainstorming with you. And as I said, there is a process. There is a process to our trying to love God, and there is a program to it. Now, the program was given to our beloved grandfather, great-grandfather to some, Srila Prabhupada. And what is this program? Can we gather some ideas? Get up early, yes, that's one thing he taught us. What else? What do we do to learn how to love Krishna? Yeah? Chant 16 rounds, true. Anything else? We read, yes, scriptures. We go, yeah, and see the deities. We do kirtan together, yes. We take prasadam, yeah, we honor prasadam, true. Yes, Archanam, that's true. We worship the deities. Also, he gave us that, yes?
Also, like loving exchange between the devotees?
Yes, there are loving exchanges between devotees. He encouraged not only cooperation, but he encouraged loving exchanges, like Amrita said. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the program. Now, I want to speak a little bit about Krishna's program. Because Krishna is our Adi Guru, he's our first Guru. And in the scriptures, whatever he says and does, it's the teaching, it's an instruction for us. So in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a chapter called Lord Krishna's Daily Activities. And Krishna would, and this chapter is there because Narada Muni visited and he wanted to see how Krishna is living in Dwaraka in his 16,108 palaces with his 16,108 wives, and he wanted to see how he makes a perfect householder. So then in the morning there would be the sound of roosters crowing, and the birds would be singing, and the bees would be buzzing, and there would be reciters of poets who would recite Krishna's glories, and there would be a fragrance of parijata flowers in the air. And this was the setting into which Krishna would wake up. And after waking up, he would wash his mouth, his hands, his feet, he would sit down, and he would meditate on himself. And after he did that, then he would take a shower, put on clean clothes, and do some sacrificial activities. He would make a sacrificial fire, he would chant Gayatri mantra, and he would offer oblations to the demigods and the forefathers. And after that, he would do charity. He had a custom of distributing 13,084 cows to the brahmanas every day. Morning time, after he took a bath, before he went to the temple, before he got breakfast or anything, he would do charity. He would distribute these cows. And these cows, they were enwrapped in fine cloth. They had silver in their hoods. And they were very tamed and peaceful cows, and they gave abundant milk. Now we might think, I don't have a cow to give. What can I give early in the morning before I even go to the temple? But, because Krishna is the greatest, he can give great things, and he can do great things. And we are minute in proportion to Krishna. And we can do, minute things, and we can do little things, and give little things. And I was thinking maybe in the morning, if you give a smile something to somebody, this is an act of charity, and it sure makes the day for that person. And when you see the person happy, it makes you happy as well. So after that, then Krishna would dress nicely and decorate himself. He would put the kastuba jewel, he would put the flower garlands, around his neck, sandalwood paste on his face and body. He would put ornaments and jewels and makeup, all of these things. And then he would go to the temple, either to the Vishnu temple or to the Shiva temple. And there he would meet with the brahmanas and greet them. And one of his daily prescribed duty was to make all the inhabitants of Dwaraka satisfied. So after he left the temple, this was his task. He would give gifts to satisfy his devotees, and he would give, silk and sandalwood and flower garlands, things like that. And after, he would give everybody gifts and satisfy everybody, which would, make him happy as well. Whatever was left, then he would give to his immediate associates, to his queens and his ministers. And if there was something left, then he would keep it to himself. Now, when I first read that, what I remembered was how Srila Prabhupada, in one conversation, he was asked, what does it mean to be a grihasta? And then Srila Prabhupada said, well, to be a grihasta, it means when the prasadam is ready, you go to the door, you open the door, and you shout, if there's anybody hungry, please come in. If there's anybody hungry, please come in. If there is anybody hungry, please come in. And after your guests, whoever came, are fully satisfied, if there's anything left, then you feed yourself and your family. So this is, it's a high level of devotional service, to actually first just to stop, just to put somebody else before ourselves, but to put strangers before our even family, that is really, but it is instruction, and it is, something that we are trying to learn, from Krishna. Then Krishna would be ready to go out. And Daruka would be outside with the chariot, paying obeisances, waiting for him. And the queens would be at the door, giving him loving glances. And Krishna would smile back at them. And he knew that the queens were tormented by him going. And maybe Shriha wants to drink. So, but he also knew that by going away, by separation, he will increase their love for him. So then Satyaki and Uddhava were there. They would mount their chariot and they would go to the Sudharma assembly hall. Now this assembly hall is known that whoever enters, he gets free from the 6 pangs of material existence, which are thirst and hunger and lamentation, illusion, old age and death. So it is the place to be. And when he would enter, then he would sit on his throne, being his effulgent self. The Yadu heroes would be there. There would be... No. Grab him. The Yadu heroes would be there, and there would be professional magicians and musicians and dancers and poets, and brahmanas would come to recite Vedic mantras and so on. And yes, we can learn so much about Krishna's daily activities, what is the aim, how we should actually act. If we just think of how Krishna was receiving his guests, for example, when his emancipated, poverty-stricken childhood Brahmana friend, Sudama, would come to visit him in Dwaraka, he just immediately got up and welcomed him. He said, Swagatam, Suswagatam, you're welcome, you're most welcome. He gave him a seat. He offered him something to drink, to eat. He would wash his feet, and then Rukmini would be there fanning, the Brahmana. And it is said how if you get an unexpected guest, it is like Narayana entered your home, and you should treat your guest like this. But most of the time, if we get an unexpected guest, we'll be like, looking at, what is this person doing here? It's like, I'm sorry, it's really not the best time right now. So it is something, to learn and strive for. Okay, so as I said, we did the easy part of devotional service. Another point was that Srila Prabhupada mentioned in this purport was that devotional service is powerful. And he's saying how devotional service surpasses all other processes of self-realization. In the previous verse, Kardama Muni was explaining how, by by births and births and births of this rigid yoga practice in a secluded place, then maybe you get a glimpse of Paramatma. But we are actually, with our process, we're aiming at Bhagavan, Goloka Vrindavana. That is our destination. That is where we want to go. So it surpasses all other processes of self-realization, but at the same time, as I learned from Srila Prabhupada's teaching, that not only surpasses, but also comprises all the other processes of self-realization. For example, in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada is giving this, short description of the Ashtanga Yoga system by Patanjali. And what I was thinking was, when I was reading this, I was thinking, Ashtanga Yoga system, this eightfold process, it starts with yama and yama. It starts with don'ts and do's. And then I was thinking, what is the yama niyama in our process? What is the don't in our process? What in our program maybe, what Srila Prabhupada gave us? What don't we do in order to, start a spiritual life? Yes. This is one. There are four. There are 4 don'ts. So apart from illicit sex, we also don't do what? We don't gamble, yeah. We don't. True. We don't eat meat, fish, or eggs, and no drugs. Yes, we don't take intoxicants. And what is the do of our program that Srila Prabhupada gave us? What do we do? Yeah? Yes, we chant 16 rounds. And also, something very, very important that Amrita Gopi mentioned earlier. And Prabhupada says this is the most important thing. Sadhu Sangha, associating with devotees. Yes. Okay. No, so Ashtanga Yoga system starts yama and yama, then it goes to asana. Do we do some bodily postures in our daily practice of Krishna consciousness? Yeah, there are tapes with Srila Prabhupada chanting, and in the tape he will say, sit properly. So yeah, we definitely do Padmasana, which is a lotus position. Most of you are now sitting in some version of it. True. Then what is this? This is called Namaskarasana. We do this a lot. And there are others, giving obeisances is another one. And then when we lay at bed in night, most of us will do Shavasana, which is lying in the back and just, And it goes on, we do pranayama while we chant, and all of the other stages, they're also comprised in Bhakti Yoga. But where I want to go now is, where is Gyana? Where is Gyana Yoga in devotional service? Gyana is mental endeavoring, intellectual work. Do we have that in our program? Yeah. Yes, when we are reading. When we listen to lectures, yes. When we learn the shlokas. When we do this Krishna Katha, In our program, it's like morning, evening, we do the Gyana part. So this is the Shravanam Kirtanam. This is the beginning of our process, hearing, chanting. And then where is dhyana? Where is the meditation? Where is dhyana yoga in our process? Yeah, all the time. That's a goal. Yes, when we see the deity, that's a nice meditation as well. When we do service, yeah, it's desirable. One of the reasons why I chose my internal spiritual father was because, especially in his late years, he would give a lot of seminars on just stories from our scripture. I would hear Brihad Bhagavatamrita from him so many times, and then Garga Samhita and Ramayana and Uddhava Gita and things like that. And what it did for me, because I was always wondering, I'm doing Shravanam Kirtanam, but where is the Smaranam part? I'm this karmi girl going to a karmi job and, having all of this karmi association that I don't want, but it's a necessary thing of, an avoidable thing was at the time of my daily routine. And I want the Smaranam, and just, by hearing from Guru Maharaj, then I would automatically, think about all of these stories during the day. Yeah.
Can I ask who's your Guru?
Oh, it's His Holiness Bhakti Charuswami Maharaj. Another thing about Gyana that I wanted to share is my mentor in Krishna consciousness. She was a morning pujari for over 20 years, and every morning she would do puja to Goranitai. Is that him? So every morning she would do puja to Goranitai, and these are the small deities that are in front of big Panchatattva deities in Ljubljana. And then he was telling me one day that, when she gets up in the morning and she goes to take a shower, then she automatically thinks how she's going to dress Goranitai today. And I was thinking at that time, I get up in the morning, I take a shower, I think about how I'm going to dress myself. Now, so many years later, I get up in the morning, I take a shower, I think about how I'm going to dress my daughter. But I guess that's a progress. Slowly. So yeah, this is the Smaranam part, Dhyana Yoga in our process. So we did the easy and the powerful about devotional service. Now we're doing that is real. Srila Prabhupada mentions that he quotes this verse, 1855 from Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati, which says that the Lord Krishna, he can only be understood by devotional service. And he says that this understanding alone is real. Now, there's this verse that Srila Prabhupada would often quote. It is from Nectar of His Instruction, and he would quote this verse in his writings, in his lectures, in his conversations. And it goes, Dadati pratigrihnati, guyama kyati prichati, bhunkte bojayate chaiva, shad vidam priti lakshanam. And this is the verse that it actually speaks, shad vidam priti lakshanam. It says that 6 symptoms of love, of Priti. And this is the science. This is the point that I wanted to come back to. This is our science. This is how to love, what our scriptures are saying, what love is and how we should love. And we should give something and get something in return, the dati pratigrihnati. And then bhunkte. Okay, so the next one is that we should reveal our mind in confidence, and we should confidentially inquire also from others. And the third pair of the 6 symptoms is that we should give prasadam and we should take prasadam in exchange. Now this loving exchange can go on at least 3 levels. One is bhakta to bhakta, one is a disciple to guru, and vice versa, guru to disciple, and one is devotee to Krishna. And I wanted just to focus a little bit on devotee to Krishna and just on the dati pratigrihnati part. Bhakti Charuswami wrote this beautiful book called Kripa Sindhu, The Ocean of Mercy, which is one of my daily readings. It's sort of like an autobiography, but just on the surface. In actuality, it is a glorification of his eternal spiritual father, Srila Prabhupada. And in this book, he describes how when he joined in Mayapur, and that was before he met Srila Prabhupada, and one morning he was sitting in front of Radhamadava deities there, and he was chanting his japa, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And all of a sudden, he had this profound realization that actually by chanting these names, he is communicating with them and that they are listening. Now, when I say this, I don't even say it from philosophical understanding. I just say something that I've heard and read so many times, but he actually had this realization. And then he's writing in his book how, then it occurred to him that he could just ask them for something, Radha Madhava, and that they would grant his desire if he asked. And then he was thinking, what can I possibly ask for? And all of this, different things crossed his mind, and then the thought came, if I die tomorrow. So when this thought came, all he asked for was unalloyed devotional service. And when he asked for this unalloyed devotional service, he felt this tranquility inside. And he paid obeisances, full dandavat, and he was, in that asana for a long time, just feeling gratitude and love. Now, this was him offering his life to Krishna, and Krishna reciprocated, He gave something, Krishna gave, something back. He gave a life of unalloyed devotional service, of selfless service and, causeless even. And then I was thinking, when we come here, we think, okay, I have nothing to give, but we do. We came to the temple and, the least we got to give is a little bit of faith, otherwise we would not come to the temple. We come here and we say, okay, Lord Nrsimhadev, Krishna, I believe in you. I believe that you are real. And I believe that there is a process and a program with which I can learn to love you. And, by that process, I'll be purified. And I want to do this, And when we have this, a little bit of faith, Krishna will reciprocate. He always does. He gives us devotees to associate with, to inspire us. He gave us, Srila Prabhupada's books, to learn about him and to learn the philosophy. And he gives us, his own pastimes to instruct us how to live, to be purified, and to be, someday come to the stage when we're able to love him fully and to have this association and reciprocation, cooperation with the Lord, with devotees, with the Guru, with the Lord, like that. And once we have that, then it is a natural process that we want to go out. Because what do when you love somebody? You don't just sit at home and, I'm in love with that person. No, you want to go out. You want to tell everybody how wonderful that person is. And whether we're doing Sankirtan, whether we're doing Harinam, whether we're doing the Vyasasan like I'm doing today, we want to shout out, he is, the most strong, the strongest, he's the most famous, he's the most wealthy, he's the most knowledgeable, the most beautiful, the most renowned personality. And he is real. His name is Krishna. And if you get to know him just a little bit, then you will love him too. So this is a little something from me. I hope that maybe, seniors would like to add a point or correct me on the point, or that anybody would like to just share a little bit of their loving reciprocation with, devotees, with gurus, with Krishna, like that. Thank you. Yes, Gopi Gita.
It's very beautiful because you were talking on the theme of the goal of life, and the first point that you asked of whether devotional service is easy. Of course it's easy. It's just the choices that we make in life that lead us to where we are. And also within the process of daily life, be it temple life or outside, we forget what devotion is. We forget that we're doing service. We go back to our old lives of going through the motions, right? And then it's good to go back to that initial part, that remembrance, or that deeper remembrance, like you said, of the Guru Maharaj, where we're ultimately reaching out to want to love Krishna, to accept our love, and then after that to spread the love. This is a very, I think we all got touched in the moment. To not forget that point is so essential to our lives, because otherwise the microphone. No microphone.
Oh.
Do you hear her? Oh, no. I don't hear you. But you hear her? Yes. I mean, you heard her? Okay. Yeah. I finished my point already.
Yeah.
You can say it on the microphone.
So Gopi Gita was saying how important it is to remember, because that the process is actually simple. That it is. Can I just say it with my own words? Yeah. That it is actually our conditioning that it's making it more difficult, because we would go and we would do our devotional service and we would forget what the goal of our doing actually is, and it is trying to reach out to Krishna. It's why we came. Is that okay? Okay.
It's like a life. I mean, you can repeat this. It's a life of reflection, or a life of meditation. Not like this yogi sits in front of the wall, and in that moment he's focused. With us, it's like you take on every aspect of your life, and how to put Krishna in it is almost like the goal, right? How difficult sometimes when you're just wiping a dirty bottom, like in this, I think, where's Krishna in this? Or when I was, treasuring to pay a bill and think, oh, this is devotional service, this 7,000 euro bill, like, it's this process. The process is easy, but the connection sometimes.
Okay, so what Gopi Gita is saying, that the process of devotional service is actually easy, but to actually connect our daily activities to Krishna, that is the difficult part. It is difficult to see Krishna in scrubbing the dirt from the pot, or see Krishna in a bill, a 700 euro bill, like this. This is the difficult part, actually, to try to connect. Yeah. Yes, Mira.
What's really nice, and a quote just came into my mind where I also
would be easier also for. Oh, this one.
Because I think it moves.
Okay.
Does it?
I don't know.
Hello, now we have Samira. We are online.
Just 100.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Getting famous now. So a quote of Srila Prabhupada just came into my mind, where he said that actually, like, spiritual life is difficult, but material life is impossible. And I also share what Gopi Gita said, like, we just tend to make things more complicated and difficult as there actually are. And I think it's a good practice to remind ourselves on a regular basis, like to shift our focus back on Krishna, and just to do it daily and regularly, because we're so deeply conditioned that it's super easy to get distracted. So, yeah, and thank you so much. It was really inspiring lecture. I was the one who said spiritual life is difficult. So, and when you said it's actually easy and you shared your story, I was just like, yeah, actually it's true, and it's not true. It's just how you see the things and how you shift your focus.
Ja, also ich habe die Erfahrung gemacht, Krishna arrangiert dann immer, Krishna hilft immer. Wenn man echt das Bedürfnis hat, sich Krishna hinzugeben und Freude daran hat, dann arrangiert Krishna irgendwelche Sachen, die einen so fesseln, dass man sich immer Stück für Stück mehr hingibt zu ihm. Und ja, also das ist mit nichts in der materiellen Welt zu vergleichen, was man dann so erlebt. Und das hat mich eben so unwahrscheinlich gefesselt an ihm.
What Kishori Mataji was saying is that basically Krishna always helps you, and there's always a way where he and how he helps, and it's really surprising. But this is something which catched her the most in Krishna consciousness, the realization that Krishna is always there and always finds ways to help and support you and to path your way.
I just thought of this a conversation I had a couple of days ago, because sometimes, at least when you've been around for a little while, that they often say, just do what you're told, just get on with it, shut the mind off. And okay, for some level, if it's some service that you don't like, okay, you have to get on with it. But I realized how very, very important it is for a devotee to flourish, to find that aspect of devotional service which brings you alive, which really brings you alive, and to really develop yourself in that area. You don't neglect the other things. If you don't like chanting that's okay, you do it, those parts, okay, but just to give that focus and attention, not be held back. Like kirtaneers, if you can sing and you do it, then do it for Krishna and take that time to do it. If you like to dance, then dance for the Lord. If you, it could be whatever aspect it is. People who love to paint, this part where Srila Prabhupada, they said naturally he would just do it, like sometimes we're messing with artists, okay, he would just go and paint this picture and this, and they would, some of the most amazing, I hope that's the confirmation, some of the most amazing artwork is from ISKCON devotees pushed at that time, like this building, even this painting that we have downstairs, it's in some art books. It's one of Dhruva Maharaj, I think, how he's confronting, it's just this aspect where one it takes the courage that it's okay to develop oneself in a loving service, and the other parts, of course, one maintains, but it doesn't have to be that one puts so much emphasis on those, And I feel that's the shift somehow also in our movement a little bit, that we appreciate and we bring out the better qualities, and the other things we, of course, one can improve, but it's not that it should govern everything. You're not going to make me into a good cook this lifetime. Hare Krishna. But I will cook now happily for my children, or party food, and offer it to the Lord. It's like, I made cake on my birthday. Oh yes, with you, yes, because we made that together, and Krishna was very kind. We had sadhu sangha, we did it for Krishna. We asked senior devotees for help when we got stuck, and the devotees ate it, and everybody was well afterwards. Yeah, Hare Krishna. It was nice. Oh please, sorry. Get involved now. Get excited. The aspect with having association, where you said it's like the most important thing, or what Prabhupada said. And it's so true, and we're so fortunate living in a spiritual community, having association every second. And we tend to forget about this really fortunate environment we're living in, and just to say it, like, you will miss it when you don't have it. So it's so important, it's so nourishing to have association, and I'm really happy to have it back.
Rabindranath says you just have to trip over your feet in the temple, and you sort of in the midst of devotional service, and get out of bed, you are, it began.
Thank you so much for engaging me like this. It gave butterflies to my stomach, and I was wondering, my daughter's gonna be running around. But it's with your mercy and His grace, I think it went nicely. So, thank you all for being here. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.